Hey there, crafty friends. It's Tina the Scrappin' Rabbit, and I have some good news for you guys. Jaded Blossom is starting back up the monthly challenge, and there will be a monthly challenge prize, which will be a stamp set of your choice. The challenges are going to start the first Sunday of every month, and the challenge will go until the Saturday before that first Sunday of the following month. So all you got to do is you craft along with the theme, and then you enter it, you load it up on the blog, and then link your project up there, and then you're in the running for a prize. So easy peasy, so fun, a great way to showcase all of the Jaded Blossom goodies that you guys have been crafting with. So that is some good news for you there. So the theme this month is something that's you're going to find really convenient, because I'm sure you probably have already been working on them, but our theme is tags. So let me go ahead and share with you the tags that I made. I did a couple tags, and I think that they really turned out cute. I have been wanting a snow globe die, and I don't have one. I've been wanting to make snow globes. So I was looking through all of my Jaded Blossom goodies, and I just figured out, you know what, I can make my own snow globe using some dies that probably most of us already own. So all you need is basically a circle die, which is what I have here, and then a little die for the base. And the one that I found worked out perfectly for that is the mini tag dies too. I know so many of you guys have this set, and it is definitely one of my go-tos. I use it on a lot, just so many of my projects have dies from this set here. And I just used this one for the base. So look at how cute it turned out. And so I'm going to go ahead and walk you through. I did a process video as I was putting these together, and if you flip it over, I did stamp to and from on there as well. So yeah, this is my project share for you guys. It's a good way to use your dies in a way that maybe you weren't thinking of. So a circle die and a little base, and boom, you have a snow globe. Now this little piece here on the top is from the mini tag dies 1. Well, it doesn't have the 1, but it's the first one. And I just used, where's it, this one, this little guy here. And how perfect was that? That just made the perfect little topper. You don't even need to add that. You can just do a hole punch at the top, and that would work just as well. So there you go. This is something really easy to do and fun. And of course, I am featuring my little favorite Yeti to Party set, this cute little guy here. And the trees are from the origami, the holiday origami set. So these are the products that I used, and let me go ahead and get started with that process video, and I hope you guys enjoy. Starting with the Jaded Blossom stitched circle dies, as well as the mini tag dies for that little loop that I showed you. I'm also going to use the border dies too for the snowbank. I'm going to cut out using the 3-inch circle die, and I'm going to need 4 of those because I'm going to want one for the front and one for the back to give it a more finished look. I find running it back and forth through my Big Shot is quite efficient and really quick. And so it's a little bit harder to hold the handle when it's in this direction, but I go ahead and do it because I want to be as efficient as possible. I'm going to need 2 of those little loop cuts, and so I'll run that through twice. For the snowbank, I'm going to cut a strip of paper there. And I like that these border dies are double stitched, because then you can just flip it and use both sides. The stitching will be on both sides of your cut, not just on the one. And I'll go ahead and run that through twice so that I can get a nice good piece to cut out using the circle die. So I'm just going to line the circle die over that to the size snowbank that I want. And I'm going to pass that through and flip it. Take advantage of that double stitching. And now I have two pieces of the little snowbank. Mini Tag Dies 2 has that base piece that I showed you that fits perfectly along the bottom of that 3-inch circle to make a nice snow globe base. I'm going to use some wood grain cardstock that I got from Hobby Lobby Christmas stack last year. And I'm going to cut 4 of those because I want one for the front and as well as one for the back. The Yeti to Party set has that adorable little Yeti, and I'm going to use the smaller one. I've got my little foam pad out. I'm also going to stamp using the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And I'm going to seal that with some clear embossing powder because you cannot color Copics with the VersaFine ink unless it's sealed. And sealing it with the clear embossing powder gives it that effect that I like, the embossed effect, and then I can still use my Copics with it. I like this ink because you get a perfect impression nearly every time, especially for smaller images. And now I'm going to coat that ink really well with the clear embossing powder. You want to make sure that you cover every part of the ink because you will get some smudging with your Copic if it is not sealed. So once I have good coverage, I'm going to heat my embossing tool and then go along and make sure that all of that embossing powder is nice and melted, sealing that ink below so that I can use my Copics. I'm going to go ahead and use my powder tool over these little strips. I especially like to use the powder tool when I'm stamping sentiments for a clearer impression. And I'm going to use this Merry Christmas word from the Christmas Kindness stamps. So I've got my little block ready, and I'm going to use a Versamark, and I'm going to use the white embossing powder so that I can have a white stamped sentiment on there. Using the tweezers helps a lot when you're using smaller cuts because you don't want to burn yourself with that embossing tool because it can get pretty hot. I do like to use a paintbrush to get off any stray embossing powder bits so that they don't stay on my label there, especially with the white because every little speck is going to show up when you heat emboss it. I did find this really cute to and from this Spring Sweet Treats set, and that's what I'm going to use for the back side of my tags. And I'm going to use the VersaFine ink as well for this, but I'm not going to worry about heat embossing it because I'm not going to be coloring over those sentiments, and so the VersaFine will dry just fine and there won't be any smudging or anything with that since I'm not going to be using any Copic coloring on that back side. So here are my little guys, and I did stamp the extra. I try to stamp extra just in case I have any mishaps. Here are the colors that I'm using to color up my little Yeti, and I'm going to start with the darker gray, and I'm just going to flick up and give him a little bit of fur. And I'm going to go and do like the little shadows just on the bottom parts, flicking upward. I'm going to blend it out just a little bit with the C1. Trying to get that little fluffy look there, and then finally go over it with the C0. Just a little bit of shading and a little bit of fluffy fur is all that this little guy needs. I'm going to use the C1 to do part of the stripes for his horns. And then with the bees, I'm using all the zeros, the 0, 0, 0, 0 for the lightest color, the 0, 0, and again the 0, 0, 0. So I've got that going the lightest to the dark there, or the darkest to the light, I mean. Just adding a little bit of shadow around his little face, giving him some of that little blueness, but still appearing to be white. I blend it out with that lightest blue there with the 4 zeros. And I think that he turns out so cute. He is so easy to color, you guys. I really enjoy coloring these little Yetis. I'm going to add little cheeks using the R20. And then I'm going to just give him a little bit of shadow on his teeth. Not a lot, just a little tiny bit of the natural gray, the N0. I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut him out. I was out of the camera for that first one, so I'm making sure that I'm right under the camera for this second cut. And so once I get him cut, I'll be able to assemble my tag. I did have those trees already colored and cut out for you guys. And I'm going to color the background for the snow globe. And I'm going to be using these BGs. And it's just going to be a simple coloring, nothing extravagant. I just kind of want it to look like snow flurry. And just to give it a little bit of depth. So I'm going with my darker shade there, and I'm just scribbling it on there. Nothing technical, nothing too crazy. Then I'm going to blend it out a little bit, and I find that these blue grays really do make a nice little gray, a nice little snowy background. And then finally with my lightest shade, the BG70, I'm going to blend that out towards the top, and then go back in and just kind of blend it all out. And there's the little snow bank, and I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to place everything. I'm going to take my 0 just to smooth out any of the harsh lines from that lightest color. And finally, using the holiday splatters, I'm going to stamp and emboss some snow onto these panels. And so I'm going to use my Versamark ink, sorry about that, and the white embossing powder. Get some nice little snow flurries going on in the background. And I'm thinking of ways I want to do some shaker snow globes. So I'm going to be thinking about doing that next. I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss that snow in the background. Get it on there, looking nice and cute. And then I'll do that for both panels. So once I have the snow stamped on both, I have all the pieces that I need, and I'm ready to go ahead and put my tag together. Using my ATG gun, I'm just gonna glue that snowbank on there, and then I got to put the tree and the Yeti on there, so I'm gonna use my Scotch 2-way liquid glue there, which I really like. That's my favorite glue for small pieces and paper piecing as well. I'm going to glue that on there. And then once I have my front panels done, I can go ahead and add the little loop where I want it to go for on the inside. And so centering that as carefully as I can, I'm going to go ahead and add some more glue there. Get it on there. And this is why I wanted that back piece, because I didn't want it to not be usable from the back side, since I did want to write the to from. So stamping that back panel gives it a much nicer look. And there you have a tag right there, circle tag. And then just to make it look like a snow globe, I'm going to be adding those little strips with the Merry Christmas. And I'm going to add that to the front and the back, again giving it a more finished look. Trying to line it up the best that I can and keep it nice and straight. And there you have it. Pushing it together and making sure that I have a nice seal on that. Same thing for the second tag. I'm going to glue that back piece on there. And then add the base as well. I like having my work mat with those lines because that really does help me to keep things as straight as possible. And there you have it, just getting it on there. And once those two are done, I'm going to add the twine, and I found this nice little aqua and white striped twine that I thought matched really well, and I'm going to loop it through and then to the back so it is all ready to go when I have a present. I can go ahead and write the to from on the back and then tie that on And now I have a really adorable little tag to add to any gift for this holiday season. And then I just want to get it snug on there so that it doesn't tangle up. There you go. Those are my 2 tags. Easy peasy, using dies in a different way than you would think to come up with something that I don't own. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you liked my project today, and I have more process videos in the works. Until next time, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.